Hello, welcome in everyone. Welcome in. First one of 2024. Would have been a little bit sooner, but life happens. People have weak immune systems and things like that. I want to walk around. I don't want to keep warm. I'll just do what I got to do.
Yeah, it's that new age viruses and stuff that goes around.
Mm-hmm.
But with the old school immune system, we over to overcome that. So
Okay. Overcome it like Terrence Howard lying in that hospital bed in Power. That's how y'all overcome it. I'm dying, man.
hey, some people he's not my age.
But I'm saying I pictured that
He's
when
your age. He's
no,
probably
he's
your
not.
age.
I think he's 10 years older than me. 10, 15 years older than me.
Your age. That's
Nah.
still in that
He's
range.
he's closer to your bracket than he is mine.
Yes, yeah, whatever.
Uh-huh. Don't get mad. Don't get mad at me because you living out that meme when
Oh,
things
no, I'm not getting mad because your young people think we don't know what we're talking about.
certain
And you
things.
think, God, you,
Uh,
you think we got a, and when things happen, you think we got a crystal ball. You think that, oh, why? They don't understand. They don't know. This is a new age now. It's a new time. They don't
mhm,
get it.
mhm,
And then we find something that states we knew it all along. We're trying to warn you. We're trying to give you information that can protect you and that you can move forward and avoid the pitfalls. But you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. And there's reasons behind it. There's reasons behind it. And we're going to discuss that
Hey,
later.
let's go ahead and talk about some of those reasons.
But we're going to show you a clip about something that happened that was recorded in 1965. 19 look this way. Look this way, young man. 1965.
I know, back in your era, like the early 1800s, I get it. 'Cause you've been around, you bought a fossil, so we understand. You understand. You've been around. I get it. I get it. I get it. You don't have to
I
try and
say
prove
again,
you don't have to try
and
and
I
prove your
say
point.
again, and I'm gonna say again.
Mm-hmm.
1965,
And I'm gonna say again,
not 2024.
I'm gonna say again, back in my day, up and down, both ways, up and down the hill. Yeah, I'll keep saying that.
But the truth is the truth. What you're going to hear from 1965
Mm-hmm.
from Paul Harvey was a warning to America.
Okay.
That's part of the title. Is a warning to America. Paul Harvey was a American broadcaster for ABC radio, and I grew up with. I listened to him because he used to have the rest of the rest of the story segment, and he just tell you about something, and then he said, "This is the rest of the story," and then it's like, "Good day," at the end. He died in 2008. I mean, no, yes, he died. He dies in 2009 at the age of 90. Um, the program ran from 1951 to
Mm-hmm.
2008. 24 million viewers every time, possible, approximately. So what I'm saying is this particular segment was done in 1965. I gotta stress that, everyone. Um, These young people don't understand when we're telling them things. This is when I was growing up. This is my era. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding era. Not feel good era. Not whatever, whatever I think is right is right.
Knowledge, wisdom, and
Not that, not
understanding.
that.
Hey, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. And I don't know about all that, but okay. I'm gonna let you have. I'm gonna
Right.
let you have. I'm gonna let you
Oh,
go
oh,
ahead.
oh, I'm gonna
Go
run.
ahead.
I'm gonna run for a minute.
Yeah,
For
I
a
know
minute.
you are.
Okay. Now, during this time in the 60s, you got Cold War, got Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
you got racism. We with Martin Luther King, we're celebrating his birthday on tomorrow. We had the March on Washington. We had even women's movement kind of started during that time. Kennedy was president. Kennedy was assassinated. Um, we had voting rights, racism, all these things going on. The Cuban crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis, um, the start of Medicaid, Medicare during that time. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King as well. Black Power movement. All of this was going. Latino activity. They were getting their movement going on. All of this is going on during this time. And you think about it, all those movements were going just started. I mean, it started in the 50s, but there were protests. There were um, major protests during this time when this came out. Learn to listen, young people. You've been warned. You've been warned. We know what we're talking about. Don't get it twisted. I'm done. I'm off the soapbox right now. Done.
I find that hard to believe, but I find that hard to believe. So would you like me to play this clip for everybody now?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
All right. So here we go. Uh, Make sure. I don't know if the sound's gonna be too loud. Let me know. I'm gonna check everything while I play it.
If I were the devil,
Once again,
if
1965.
I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world
During
in darkness.
all the
And
things
I'd
I've
have a third of
mentioned,
its real
and is
estate and
more.
4/5 of its
But
population, but I
I
wouldn't
just
be happy
skimmed
until
the
I had
surface.
seized the ripest apple on the tree,
And Kennedy was assassinated.
me.
Malcolm X was
So I'd
assassinated.
set about, however
Martin Luther
necessary, to
King was
take over the
assassinated in
United
the
States.
60s.
I'd subvert the
Go ahead.
churches first. I'd begin with a
What did
campaign
you
of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve,
I gotta
do
get
as you please.
He got a
To
little
the young,
hat
I would
on
whisper
there.
that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell
This is
alcohol to ladies
relevant.
and gentlemen of distinction.
This is going to be
I'd
relevant
tranquilize the
once
rest
it
with
comes up.
pills. If I were the
See
devil, I'd
how it
soon have families
relates
at war with themselves,
to a
churches at
perspective
war with themselves, and
when
nations
we
at
don't
war with
have social
themselves,
media.
until each in its
The
turn
media,
was consumed.
communication. Everybody,
And with
I think
promises of
most
higher
everybody had
ratings,
TV and
I'd
things
have
like that.
mesmerizing
But
media fan the
communication,
flame.
worldwide communication, local communication,
Tools to
wasn't
replace
at the
logic,
level that it is right
to
now.
discipline emotions,
You don't have
to
social
control
media the
morals.
way you
And
had it.
before you knew it,
It wasn't
I'd
really
install
social media. It was
electronic
radio
metal
and
detectors
TV.
at every schoolhouse door.
That's it.
Within a decade, I'd have prison
All
bars
that
going.
is
I'd
relevant,
have judges
but
promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the
the
home,
knowledge
then from the
that we
school,
had
and then from
from
the business of
generations
knowledge.
before us
And in his own
and
career,
that
I
were
would
passed on
advocate
to
for
my
universal
generation,
religion and deify science. I would lure
That's why we need to circle back. Let's look at what we were trying to warn the youth today about.
Until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the clip. So, what? You're still on the soapbox, though, man. You wanted me to play the clip. I played the clip. So, what is it you're trying to convey? Because you're like, hey, you know, this.
How's it relevant? How's it relevant in 1965
Mm-hmm.
to 2000?
Because this has been going on since 1965, probably even before then. So you can't really just say it's my era, because a lot of this stuff was enacted before, you know, we even had to say anything. Like the smoking, the drugs, the diseases. Yeah, the hippie era.
How about the dogs and the metal detectors in school? When did that start?
Dogs and metal detectors in school? Early 90s.
No. 65. 1965.
Right. But I'm saying that happened early 90s. How old was I in the early 90s?
It doesn't matter. It's your era.
What you mean?
It's your era. It's your era.
What you mean it don't matter?
Your era. It's your era.
How is that my era? I was 12.
It doesn't matter.
What you mean it doesn't matter?
I wasn't even born in 1965.
Yes, you were. You were born in 1900. So what I'm saying is it's a trickle effect of what you're trying to portray. It's not just it happened, boom, here in this one era. All this is a culmination over years of time. Granted, history does repeat itself because people don't pay attention.
That was not going on.
So you mean to tell me
in 1965?
So you mean to tell me people were getting diseases and stuff during the hippie era? Cocaine,
cocaine
wasn't introduced. Cocaine wasn't introduced as a drug to.
Not at this level. Not to
cocaine wasn't introduced.
You talking about
cocaine? No. So you're gonna tell me cocaine wasn't introduced as a means to try and put people down?
I remember.
And you can mean to tell me one of the greatest athletes didn't come out with the incurable disease
in 1965?
No, but I'm saying you're trying to make it seem like
I'm saying in 1965.
That's fine. He may have said what he said in 1965, but what I'm saying is this stuff happens over time. I'm sure if we go back in time and look at 1965, it was the same thing as far as people being in power, doing things that behind the scenes you don't know what they're doing. We don't know what the upper echelon is doing behind closed doors.
What are the predictions for 2050?
2050?
Mm-hmm.
We probably be off this planet by then. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of us aren't going to be here in 2050, so I can't even give you an accurate, you know.
But he's not here,
right?
But he made a statement,
right,
in 1965,
right.
That's relevant today.
Yeah, there's a lot of statements that are made that are still relevant today. Because once again, like I said earlier, history has a tendency.
We'll talk about them. Bring them.
History has a tendency to repeat itself.
I never heard of Rome having to deal with that.
Rome having to deal with what?
So
now you're going back before 1960. No, you said 1965. Stick with what you're saying. You don't go back to the ancient era. You're not going to sit there and go back to the ancient era. You stick with 1965. Stick with 1965
Let's stick with it.
because
What?
you were saying
What?
that was,
That was not going on in 1965.
So you just said you had wars, Vietnam Wars, all that stuff going
Yes,
on.
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So right,
That's
1965.
right.
So
In the 60s. In the 60s.
okay, so in the 60s, right? So fast forward, history repeating itself. We have another war going on. Russia and Ukraine, they're fighting it, or not Russia and Ukraine, Russia having their war. Then we had a war before that with Afghanistan.
Was mentioned.
I'm just
Was
saying.
mentioned in 1965. It
History-
wasn't a war. Vietnam War was going on, but they protested about it, and
I mean,
it was a major
that's
thing.
all well and good. It still sticks to what you were saying, right? And what I was saying is that history has a tendency to repeat itself. So it's not like I'm not trying to discredit the man, but I am saying that it's not anything new. If you actually think about it and look and read and pay attention,
Okay.
it goes in circles. Not saying that you guys don't know what you're talking about, whatever the case may be. It's
that's what we get. That's what we get.
The famous thing that y'all like to say. It's the same game, just a new skin. It's the same game, just a new skin, right?
But you know what? We are discredited because you say we don't get it. We don't understand. This is a new time. It's a different game. It's a different game. The rules are still the same.
That is part of growing up. You've done it to your parents. I've done it.
No, I listened.
Yes, you did. You did it. That is a part of growing up. Everybody knows that's a part of growing up. As you get older, you're like, oh, they actually knew what they were talking about. When you're younger, you think you know everything, whatever the case may be. You still may think you know everything as you get older, but as you get into your older age, like 40, maybe 50, it's the same thing. You realize your parents were correct on certain things. They may have been in the ballpark on certain things, but not necessarily on point. But every person has done this as they've grown up. Every person has done this.
Well, there is a level, but it's a level of respect that's different.
Well, most of the time, the respect is
it's a level of respect that's different.
The respect is given as you get older. That's what I'm referring to. When you're younger, come on, because you know this. You know this. I know this. We've all done the same thing. We're like, oh, y'all don't know what you're talking about. X, Y, and Z. And as you get older, you realize, oh, maybe they did have an inkling, or maybe they did know what they were talking about. It just depends. It's right. Like I said, you may be in the ballpark. You may be in the ballpark on certain things, and then sometimes you may be directly on point. It just depends. But like I said, as you get older, you're like, oh, they actually do know what they were talking about. And then that's where the respect comes in. But when you're younger, you're not listening. I'm like I've always heard, oh, you guys think you're invincible, yada, yada, yada. I was like,
that's right. You do. Y'all do.
But as I've gotten older, I know that is not the case. So once again, history repeats itself. Everything is cyclical.
Well, and I get that. But the thing is the constant devaluing information.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't devalue information like the new generation. And that segment, if I were the devil, shows that. It shows, we understand. We understand. We know what we're talking about.
Well, you
just hadn't experienced it yet.
Here's the thing. Here's another piece. We were, over the years, a lot of things have come up as not being credible for certain news stations. And I think that also contributes to devaluing information. So that plays a part, because you said
you mentioned media. You mentioned media.
But I'm saying you said NBC. So that was probably when NBC was actually doing what they were supposed to do back in the day.
I said NBC. It's ABC.
Oh, ABC. Okay. ABC. So now, guess what? ABC's a part of Disney. We all know what's happening over there. So that falls into that bracket of discredited information. However, over time, things have come out. Why would I want to listen to this when I know it's not correct? Oh, they're just, they're just spinning it so they can get views. Or you want to listen to your favorite influencer, or they're telling my influencers telling me that they have a trusted source with X, Y, and Z, but then they come out as a lot. So it's like, who can you really trust now at this point as far as information? Because over the years, people have been found out to be liars, or the information is not being correct. So of course people are going to be skeptical about information that's being told to them now, because we've been lied to over the years. Well, more so in my generation, over the years as we've grown up, the things that
you've been told the truth too.
Yeah, I'm not going to say we haven't been, but it's been more lies than truth. So when you've been lied to multiple times, you really think I'm going to sit there and let you talk to me and be like, even though you may be truthful?
Do your research.
I mean, that, obviously, but when you're
that's right.
When you don't
have take things at face value. Don't take things at face value.
When you don't have those things, like when you go into school, when you have school, you're going to trust the teacher to teach you things the right way. I mean, why would you not? Why are you going to sit there and research it? You know what I mean? Like those kind of things are always. So once you get out and you realize, oh, that wasn't what we talked about in school. So now you have a fractured reality or shattered reality of what actually you think.
That's right. So that's why you have to do your homework. Just don't take things at face value. Don't rely on a source, media or social media to determine how you look.
But what I'm saying is, it's kind of hard not to rely on those people when those are people you have to trust to get your education or whatever the case may be. Not necessarily, but once you're out, fact check everything. But when you're growing up through the ranks, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't what we were told, or like, what? What are you supposed to do?
Now, you make a valid point, and I know it's on hard copy, but this is why I say you're like, oh, you can get books online, you can read it. It's nothing beats a hardback. You got to keep your books. You got to read. You got to learn. You got to understand. Because just like you're saying, you got to validate the information. Just don't take it at face value. Mm-hmm. You can't give something weight.
So
your knowledge gives it weight. You give it relevance when you do your research. But if you just say, okay, that person says that and that's it, that's true.
So let me ask you this then. I understand you got to keep the books and everything, but isn't, well, I guess not necessarily your group, but there's groups that are saying there's not enough, environment. So I'm buying books, therefore I'm a bad guy because I'm
saving the trees.
I'm not saving the trees, whatever the case may be. So that's what it goes into, that whole bucket of what do you do? I understand you want hardback copies. I understand you want hardback copies. I'm just proposing. I'm just asking this question.
Okay.
Because that's the
thing.
I
see. That's right. I see that. But I see developments all the time. See any patch of land that they can put a house or a subdivision on there. So what happened to the trees then?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I see complete forests gone.
Mm-hmm.
I go home, they done cut down a whole area where was nothing but trees. Where did the trees go? What did they do with it? Build the houses with it? So, look, everything affects everything, in a sense. But don't try to make it a book or, keeping knowledge on hard copy a platform for saving trees.
Mm-hmm.
because that is not the mindset of what I'm seeing out here when you're building, these subdivisions, these condos, these apartments. That is not the mindset that I see these developers using when they do it. So don't pick a book on the smallest part of that whole scheme as being relevant of saving trees.
I mean, me personally, I just rather keep everything digital. I mean, I'm not a.
Digital until you need
It,
power,
Mhm.
you need resource. See, the thing about it, everything is good when everything is working. When
I
you
hear
got
you,
electricity, when you got all these things available to you.
but you still need light to read books and things like that.
Fire,
Okay, okay.
sunlight, sunlight, sunlight. You sit
I,
outside, you can read, right? In
I
the
hear
sun,
you,
right?
but I'd rather download it and have access to it whenever, not just have it. Oh,
I'm not knocking that.
right.
But what I'm saying is when the power goes out,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in a situation or you in a situation where you don't have power, is that available to you?
If I've downloaded it, yeah. I mean, most of the time, I'm not gonna sit there and procrastinate. Me personally, I'm not everybody else. I'm not gonna procrastinate. If it's something I want, I'm gonna have it downloaded so I have ease of access to it whenever I want it. An audio book, regular digital book, whatever the case may be. So that way, if the power does go out, oh, I can read it on my tablet.
Well,
I'll read it on.
Miles is powered up. You got the battery life is
I mean, the
up.
battery's always going to be charged. That's why you buy an extra power pack. You buy an extra power pack.
And then when that dies, what?
I mean, when that dies, then
When
you
the power's not on.
and the power's not on. You really think in today's age, power's going to
See,
be off for multiple
see,
days? As the
especially
Georgia
in
power,
my
as the power man,
uh,
as the power man,
right,
is the power
absolutely
really
it
going to?
should. Absolutely it shouldn't. But think about this. Think about this. What I'm saying is everybody thinks they're a superhero when everything is going right. When everything goes to the left, no power, uh, scarcity of food and resources, are they that same superhero?
They might be.
Are they that same? Are they out there? Can they generate their own power? Can they hunt for their food? Can they provide for their loved ones and themselves when all the conveniences are gone? See, and that's where the youth and young people and you know, I'm not just pointing out women and things like that. Think that yes, you can do a lot when everything is going well, but when everything goes to the left, can you keep doing the same thing? You got to think about that. You're not that superhero when you got to go hunt for your food and you got to kill it, skin it, clean it, and everything else to survive. Yeah, when you can go to the grocery store and grab your meats and your eggs and your pork, all that stuff, it's great. I can do this. I don't need anybody. That's
So
all I'm saying.
I hear you, but what does that have to do with reading a book? That's not that's a
Reading,
skill hold on, that is a skill that you learn by going out and doing. You're not going to really pick up that skill by reading a book. It was two different. I was following you on the whole skinning and everything else, but I'm like, how does this tie into reading a book? Like a lot of people.
that's concerning information,
Mhm.
information that you get from other people. That's how you you can have it in a book. Because what I'm saying is, if you don't have access to certain things, and you can't circle back, if they block it, can't they block stuff from you and say, "Oh, we're gonna discount this information. You can't have access to it."
I mean, they can do the same thing with the book and stop circulating it.
No, 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 no. Once you bought the book, they can't come to you. They're not coming to your house to get the book. You already got it, right? Right?
I mean, they can't come to your house and
Right.
get the book. However, comma, they will still make an announcement like, "Hey, this wasn't correct," and they will make an announcement. Everybody will have it.
But it's up to you. At least you got the information to say
Mhm.
it's a difference of opinion, and you can make discern if that's you agree or disagree. Not somebody else determining that and say, "Well, we're going to discontinue that."
Mhm.
1965 mentality. That's what I'm saying.
That's not a 1965 mentality. He didn't say anything about reading a book. And so
No, I'm
don't,
just
he didn't
saying.
say nothing
I'm just
about reading no
saying.
book. That's just you saying, "Oh, you guys should read books." And it's like, I've been there, done that. I've already read books. I read books on the daily.
Oh, I
I just
know.
don't
I know.
I
I know.
don't want to have a hard copy of a book. That's wasted space. I can do other stuff with that space.
Oh, I get it. I get it. It's convenient. It's easy. I expect
Go
that
home,
from.
have
I
a
expect
library
that.
of books of stuff that I'm not gonna read over years and years, and it collects dust. Whereas I can use that space for other things.
No, absolutely. You're correct. You're correct. I get that. But what I'm saying is, if you're looking for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, if that's your main focus, and you, with that being said, you don't want somebody else to dictate that. You might want to get a hard copy because that might be discontinued or might not agree with somebody's narrative, and you might not have access to that again.
I hear you. I just don't know what kind of book that would be. I personally don't know what kind of book that would be, but I hear
I
you.
don't know either.
To each their own. But me personally, I'm not going to be that book collector who's going to have a mound of books and be like, "Oh yes, well actually, I've actually read all these books," when I know that's a damn lie.
Skim through it,
Then what's the
yeah.
point of getting the book then if you're going to skim through it? That's what I'm
But
saying. It's just
I'm just saying, but at least you have it. Don't discount the hard copy.
I'm not discounting the hard copy. I've had books before and they just sit there. I've read them and then it's just like they're just sitting there. So I'm like, okay. And then what you end up doing, you throw them away or you give them away. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
It's possible.
You bought a book 10 years. Do you still have a book that you bought from 10 years
That's
ago?
what you want to do.
Oh no. Do you still have a book that you bought from 10 years ago?
Storage. It's storage.
Oh, it's in storage, you say.
Yes,
yes. It's in storage.
But I have access to it. I have access to it though.
Is it,
go get it.
Are you really gonna go get it?
Yes.
You gonna drive all the way where the storage is to go get it?
Yes.
Let's be real, Jay. Let's be Jay.
The only reason why it's not here. It's not here.
No.
I'm telling you, the only reason why it's not here is I got to make room for it. Just like you were saying, it's a room issue. It's finding a place to put that stuff. But don't discount it.
No, I'm not discounting, but are you really going to drive over to storage and go dig for that book that's in?
No.
I'm saying right now, if you had a book, it's like, oh, let me go check that. Are you going to go drive to storage, dig through your storage boxes to find that one book? Be honest, because I already know what the answer is. be honest, because I already know what the.
You know what I'll probably do? I try to see if it's out there, and I'll order another one.
Oh, so you're gonna have another book of a book? Oh, okay. So now you're wasting money on top.
If it's relevant enough,
mm-hmm.
and something I need, I'll probably do that quicker than going to the store.
Okay, so yeah,
boxes. Because I do have boxes of books.
Right,
I do.
Right, but are you really gonna go dig through those boxes to find that one book? Okay,
probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not.
Then
but if I found a place for my books, I'll put it up on the shelf.
Sit there and
I'm working on that.
And they would sit there and collect dust. that one in a million. That one in a million one shot be like, oh, I can actually go use this book for this one now. Let me go find it. Pull it down. Turn the page 200 to find that one sentence. Okay. I'm just saying.
Or you know what? If it's online, I might just use that. But that don't mean I don't have a hard copy.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you on the hard copy, and that's fine if you want to keep a hard copy. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna be sitting there collecting all these books for no.
Yeah.
No. It becomes too much. It becomes too much of a hassle after a point. Because if you're collecting books for 10 years, just like you have yours in storage, are you ask yourself, are you really gonna go dig through storage to go find that one book?
Okay. Let me give you a scenario then. When they shut down what you read and what you have access to,
Mm-hmm.
electronically, um, you'll be begging for those books. You'll be then I'll go to the storage. I'll go grab that
Me,
stuff. Oh, I would grab the stuff out of the store
me
because that's
personally,
all I got. That's all I got.
me personally, I would focus on honing other skills. Because if I don't have,
Based
if they shut down
based
access,
on what?
if they
Based on
shut
what?
down, because we in the end game at that point.
I,
If they shut down what I have access to, I'm honing my skills to hunt, cook, take care of myself because we're gonna be in the. I need to MacGyver. I need to know how to MacGyver
how you
at
gonna
that
do that
point.
without YouTube? YouTube's gonna be shut
I
down.
don't need you.
How would
I
you
don't
do
need to. I don't need YouTube to be a MacGyver.
that? I'm just saying.
I
I'm
don't
just
need. I
saying.
don't need YouTube to be a MacGyver.
But those books become relevant.
Yeah, at that point, that's
Mhm.
a that that's one of those scenarios. That's one of those scenarios where they're like, okay, we're gonna call the population. What was that movie where they had people you could go on the killing spree for one day? One day,
What's it called? Purge? The
yeah,
Purge?
that's the kind of situation you talking about a purge. See, if that's the case, I'm doing the right. I'm not gonna sit there and look behind the book. I'm gonna be ready. Me personally, I'm gonna be ready. You stay ready, so you have to get ready because those people
Ready?
that are reading books, they're gonna be the first one to
Like I
go.
heard that before. But no. Like I said, and you know, we circle back. I agree with you. You know, some people. Hopefully, we never get there. Hopefully, we never get there. But you've seen dynasties from past that were flourishing and doing great things. They're not here anymore. They're not here. We talk about them, we read about them, we study about them. You know, we go back to the relics and what's left of that great dynasty.
A lot of those dynasties, in my opinion, fell because of hubris, but that's neither here nor there.
We're here. The U.S. is a dynasty, in a sense.
There's a lot of
Greatest,
hubris.
great,
There's a
greatest,
lot of hubris.
greatest military force. But we're talking about a situation that can, in a scenario that Paul Harvey gave, that you don't destroy those dynasties from the outside, it's from the inside out.
Yeah, that's how a lot of things fall.
That's right.
You get corruption on the inside, and then it just deteriorates the foundation.
That's right. In 1965, and that's probably before that, but this is radio or video proof of the possibilities of what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, if you did that in color instead of black and white, if it was on video, it'd be discredited in a sense, like, oh, whatever. Hey, everybody knows that's what's going on. But 1965, that wasn't going on. Not at the level that he had to say that. If it was going on at the level he said, it'd be relevant.
I mean, I'm sure it was relevant at that time because what there two prior to that. I'm just saying prior to that, what was two world wars? Two world wars, the collapse in the economy.
But it wasn't that.
We don't know.
The morality during that time was not like that. It was not. It was not.
But what I'm getting at is there were still 2 world wars. You had the housing crisis there. Oh, just 2 world. No, you should shrug your no, but 2 world wars. Okay, yes.
As long as there's man, there's going to be wars.
Right. As long as there's hubris, there's going to be wars. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, it's once again, it goes in circles. It's going to be same thing, probably another 20 years.
So you saying before he said that went on before?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me how.
You had
Tell me how.
So prior to that,
everything he was saying before in 1965 happened in 1930s.
What you had? What the black? You had the black lung because you had kids working in the mines, right? Kids getting the black lung. I'm pretty sure they had the chicken pox. There was some either chicken pox or maybe that's a little bit before. It was either chicken pox or
metal detectors in school.
Say what?
Was metal detectors?
You're focusing on really metal.
I'm just asking.
I'm talking about in the whole. In the whole. You're talking about that one thing, metal detectors. Really?
I mean, talking about some other stuff. Go ahead.
Metal detectors weren't a thing until what? You tell me that was your era. 70s, 80s. That was your era when they made metal detectors.
Yeah, they probably made metal detectors then, but they never used them in schools.
Let me see. You know what? Quick Google.
Okay. It wasn't. Oh, I'm gonna use my phone. When they start using them in schools, how about that?
When they start, no. I'm just looking at mass shootings. No. So let's see. 1965 to 1969, there was 5. 1970 to 1974, there was 4. 1975 to 1979, there were 6. 1980 to 1984, 15. 1985 to 1989 is 8, and then it goes up from there. So
it goes up. We're gonna give me the numbers.
Okay. Give me the numbers. So 1990 to 1994, there was 18. 1995 to 99, there was 19. It dipped down in 2000 to 2004 to 15. And then 2005 to 2009 is 22. 2010 to 2014 is 23. And then 2015 to 2019, it's 33. So there's been going on. It's been going on. So you can't just sit there and be like, oh.
What? Listen. What I'm saying. Did they say why those metal detectors were back in the beginning? Now, I'm not trying to ask you to go back to do that, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't because of rampant violence. It was more of protecting the person who was going to that school.
When it's the metal detectors were in certain. Okay. You know this. I know this. Metal detectors were only placed in schools in urban areas. We know that. So we can't act like it's across the board. It just, if you're in a certain area, like Chicago, you're going to have a metal detector in your school.
Okay.
Hey, you know this because there wasn't one when I went to school, where I went to high school at.
Right. It wasn't exactly. When I went.
So it depends on where you're at. Your geological location will determine whether or not you have a metal detector in your school.
I had guys that went hunting.
Yeah, that's fine. I did
right
too.
Before school. And they had the guns still in their truck at school.
I did too. Yeah, South Carolina. I know. It's a South Carolina thing. I know. But
they didn't shut the school down. They didn't shut the school down. They didn't do all that. They didn't have any issues with that.
It just depends on your location. It's not across the board. Like, I'm pretty sure Chicago probably was the first school. One of the schools in Chicago was probably the first one to have metal detectors. Hell, probably most of those shootings happened in Chicago.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it. But what I'm saying is the relevancy of you're saying, I know you're saying this every generation. I just didn't see that my mom and her mother, and my great grandmother, my great great grandmother talking about metal detectors, uh,
Well,
media, social media. Yeah, just not social media, just media.
mhm.
The mindset. Oh, revaluing marriage. I didn't see that. That's not how I was brought up. So what I'm saying is, oh, believe what's on TV over what that's how you're supposed to live. Sex, and all that. Just however you feel is right. I never grew up with that. I never grew up.
See,
And you're saying that all this happened every generation and behind my mom and mom. No, it didn't. It didn't. I know you want to say that on some things. Yes, there were
I mean,
wars. There
of
always been
course, social
wars.
media,
But uh,
of course,
what I'm
social media is not
saying
going to
is,
be there because it wasn't around in
or
that era.
any type of media, usually, shoot, my mom told me about when they got their first TV, and everybody used to come over and watch. So what I'm saying is, the media is first was radio and things like that. So don't make it seem like, okay, this has been going on. No, it hasn't. The morality has not been like this. People back in the day, the church was the only foundation, the only truth that they had. That was their foundation.
Hmm.
Most of these, protests and everything was based on that. They believed in the pastor. They believed in the
Uh-huh.
ministry and
And
all
you
that
remember
stuff.
what he said, right? That same
Yeah.
pastor messing around with those kids and stuff like that.
That's right. That's right. That's
All
what
I'm
I'm saying.
getting at, it's the same thing, just a different skin. You may not have had social media, but you had the newspaper or you had radio. And also you weren't literally you weren't forced to interact with with people of other races at that time until what, the 1960s, 70s. So you didn't have a whole lot of those tensions that we do now. I'm just saying I hear you, but I refuse to believe that all of a sudden it just became a problem after he made that statement when you had things that are similar to today that were still going on back then.
No, it's more of a direction. What about people working hard and people who not working? Getting things that the working people you have to work for. Things like that. That was not how you build a society. You. What I'm saying is that was not the mindset before him or before my mom, great grandma. That's not the mindset. That was not the mindset. You work for what you get. What about that? What about that part? We can pick little bits and pieces out of this, but what about that part? I should get whatever without any effort. When did that start? That wasn't the mindset back then. You work for what you get. You work the land, or you work a job or a profession, and then you eat. You don't sit at home and expect to eat.
I'm just saying. I'm just you may say that might not have been the mindset. I believe there was a lot of that going on. Not everybody, it's not across the board. Everybody's like, oh, work hard, because didn't like welfare and all that stuff started back in that time frame too. So people
It,
didn't have to work hard. So once again,
it started during that time.
that's what
It
I'm saying.
started,
But
but
it's still,
that wasn't the generation before.
but it still happened prior, is what I'm getting at. It goes in a circle, right? So there might have been something that was there prior to welfare, where people didn't have to really work
Well,
hard or whatever the
well,
case may be.
it was overcompensating for a wrong. When treat a group of people based on whatever the wrong way, you overcompensate. The only thing, they don't need overcompensating, they just need opportunity.
Right. I hear you, but that
But
goes back
that's what that was.
that goes back to what we
That
were
started.
that goes back to what we were just saying. It doesn't have to start right then and there. It's something that starts and eats its way from the inside, right? So you had welfare. So now you started that whole thing where people are like, oh, I can just go on welfare. And then that spreads and spreads. And you get people that don't want to do anything or contribute or however you want to say it to society.
Not all.
I know you have certain people. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't.
It don't take a lot.
It doesn't take a lot. But you start with two people, and then they're like, "Oh, we're living on welfare. We get to get this money. We don't have to do anything." Word of mouth spreads faster than a publication in a book.
That's right.
So you start from the inside, it slowly eats away, and then you get to this bubble. Not saying that that's the same case in my generation now, but
this is effects of it. You got a generation that don't believe it, just like he stated. Marriage, if I were the devil, marriage, it's useless. No, it's not. It's the foundation of family. Marriage is the foundation of family. You destroy the family, what else you got? You got chaos. You got people out here doing the things they're doing right now.
mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm going to tell you, I hear the news and I hear all these other places talk about everything. Oh, we need to do community this. We need to do community that. We need get back to family. Promote family.
Well, here's the
husband, wife, kids. Husband, wife, kids. Husband, wife.
You can say
wife, kids.
You can say that until you're blue in the face. However, there's a lot of things that have changed since then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. I mean, you're right. It did. You're right. Yeah, right. Just like, you give an inch, take a mile. Give an inch, take a mile. So these things, I'm gonna keep saying this till I'm blue in the face. It goes in a circle. These things were starting around that time frame, and now they're ballooning, and you're seeing the issues of those things that may have started at that time.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm getting at.
Devaluing life, devaluing people's respect for themselves, and respect for others.
My generation it just happens to be in the era where we have social media, so you get those things even faster now. But it was going on prior to my generation being on the planet. It started before my generation was on the planet.
But you were warned.
We may have been warned, but so it's my job to stop the young lady from making the life choices she's gonna make? I don't think so. Like, that's not how this works. I live my life, they live their life. It's unfortunate that they made the choices they made and I made the choices I made, and I'm in this position where I'm not forced to go after somebody with 2 or 3 kids or whatever the case. I have those choices. I'm not relegated to marrying another family's daughter because, it's an arranged marriage. So that way we keep the power structure going on.
I think we need to go back to that, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
That's all. That's
But
all I'm getting at. It's not. It's. It starts with a small group and it balloons and spreads and just all across the
but
world.
but the thing is, I get what you're saying. But the thing is, just get back to the basics.
People don't want to go
It's
back
as
to.
simple. As simple as
People don't want to go back to the
get
basics.
back to the
People
basics.
don't want to go back to the basics. People do not want to go back to the basics.
And that's what that's what he was talking about.
People don't want to go back to the basics. I don't think that's what he's talking about. I'm just saying people
Yeah,
don't want
that's
to.
exactly what he's talking about. That's what the devil would do. Whatever you feel is good, do it. It's all right. Let everybody else conform.
I mean that part I can agree with, but like I said, it's not like one of these things. Oh, your generation, no. Continue stand.
Another thing, generation don't accept responsibility for what they do.
Oh, so we gonna take that route again?
No,
We
I
gonna
believe
take
no,
we gonna take
no,
we gonna take that
no.
route again? We gonna take that route again? Because
No.
I'm pretty
What I was
sure.
saying,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna say something for future podcast. That said, 2024, we'll see some things.
Yeah, we already have been seeing some things.
Yeah, we
All
have,
I'm
we
saying
have.
is you can't sit there and be like, generation don't take responsibility. Hey, man, that ain't.
No, they don't. They don't. They don't. You know what? Our generation, we accept it.
Oh, that's a. I know you're lying.
We
I
accept
know you're
responsibility.
lying that because that's why you're laughing now. I know you
I'm
lying.
laughing at your response. I'm laughing at your response. That's it.
No, because you know that's the case. You know that's a lie. You know that's a lie. Oh, here you go. Just
take it.
handle
take
it because you guys are smarter. You got more access to stuff. Just handle it.
We gave you access.
Then why didn't you handle it? If you gave us that, if you were that big brain that gave us access, then why didn't you handle it? Exactly.
We had to work to make sure you had the
No,
tools.
ain't no. You ain't gonna sit there. You ain't gonna sit there and break dance around this. No.
We had to work to make
No.
sure you had the tools to
No.
do that.
Nope. I'm not. Nope.
You see, 2024. I done start with Tech, and I got to fight with him right now. See, they won't take it. They won't take.
You'll take what? I take responsibility, but I'm not going to sit here and let you act like you're the grand age of everything. And we just handed you guys everything in the world, but we didn't want to handle what we had to handle.
We didn't have a computer. We made sure you had one.
Yeah, but why didn't
We
you?
made sure you had one.
Whoa. You may have made sure we had one, but why didn't you use those computers to take care of the stuff that you had to take care of?
Because we had to take care of you. Because we had to take care of you.
Okay.
Because we had to take care of you.
I'm not listening to that. I'm not listening to that. Those same people that made the computers, I know good and well they didn't have a single heir to their name.
That's right. We had to take care of you.
Didn't have a single heir to their name. And what they did, just passing the buck.
You know how much computers cost? You remember how flat screen TVs, how much they cost when they started, and how much they cost now?
Right.
Okay.
What does that have to do with anything?
You were the generation that the computers started. And compact, I'm talking about small, compact, whatever, desktop. You know how much those things cost back then? You can only imagine. You see how the big screen TVs went from this to this. Now, you look at it, it's only $100, $200, $300. Back then, it was thousands.
Okay.
So we provided you the tools.
Okay.
And we had to pay for those tools.
If you were all
we had to pay for
no.
those tools.
If you were all encompassing, all wise, all knowing, why didn't you use those tools that you gave us solve the issues that were around, or take
We did solve.
responsibility for those things that were around at that time.
Look at the laws that were passed during the 1960s and 70s based on racial,
Okay.
women's rights.
So what does that? So what does that have to? What does that have to do with taking care of? Taking care of this?
Taking care of business. Taking care of business.
That wasn't taking care of business. That was doing what was right. That ain't taking care of business. That is not taking care of business. You were doing what was right. You were doing what was right. That's not taking care of business.
So when is your generation gonna start doing what's right?
Some of us have been doing what's right.
I haven't seen the results of that. I'm just seeing a lot of.
Of course, you're not going to see the results. You want to know why you're not going to see the results? Because you're too busy yelling at us to get off your lawn. That's why you're not going to see the results. You're too busy yelling at the clouds and not looking at what's around you.
I can't wait to hear what you got to say that your generation has solved issues that's going on today. That you got the solution.
The same issues that have been going on.
I'm telling you the solution, but you don't want to hear.
What's the solution?
Family.
That's not the solution. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking. Family is not going to solve the world's issues.
No,
Jay.
No, yes. That's the foundation.
Family's not going to solve the world's issues, Jay. What's the solution?
Yeah, I said that's the start. If you don't have family, what you got? What you got? If you don't have family, what do you got?
The ability to work hard and do whatever you want to do.
But people don't want to work. They've been trained to not work. They were encouraged not to work.
Okay.
They got systems in place so that they don't work.
Right. And those systems were when? Exactly. When were those systems, Jay? When were those systems? Oh, okay.
I told you earlier.
No.
Compensation for wrong. But you can't overcompensate. You got to realize what you're doing is detrimental more than it's helping. So you got to make those adjustments.
So you messed around and got ants in your home, basically. You took too long, you got ants in your house. So once again, you can't sit there and tell me that we don't take responsibility when a lot of this stuff.
Responsibility, we're saying we overcome, but it can be fixed. But the family unit has been destroyed. We got to build that back.
You don't need the family unit.
Especially in our community. I
hear you. But you don't need the family aspect to fix one of those errors that started. I think if we didn't have that, you wouldn't have as much, if any at all, of what you got going on now as far as people being lazy.
Lazy, and the thing about it is when your parents, and I'm a parent, it's a lot of work. It's hard. When I can hear a single mother, 28, 30, saying 8 kids, how do you do that? And I know how hard it is. I'm a parent. And they make it seem seamless. How? Tell me how that works. It needs to be a book written for that system, that a single person, mother or father, that can raise 8 kids alone, 6 kids alone, 5 kids alone. It's tough. You got all those are different personalities. And how are you going to accommodate all that? I don't. It needs to be mother, kid. mother, father, kid, father, mother, kid, in that order. But because the man should be the head of his house, he should be leading, he should be guiding, he should be providing, he should be protecting. That's the man.
I mean,
It's no reason why a woman should say she should be the provider, protector, and all that. That's his job. But when you don't know how to be a man, how would you know? How would you know your job? Because the man's not there, being raised by mom.
I mean, I've already said what I had to say. Like, if
I'm just saying,
if I say anything else, it's gonna be an issue. So I'm not.
but,
I'm just gonna go ahead. You got it, man.
but you're lucky. We're lucky. But the thing is, people don't want to talk about that. People don't want to stress that. Paul Harvey in 1965 went through a list of things that he would say the devil would do to destroy America. 2024. Everything he talked about is here. Where are we heading? Who knows?
Only time will tell.
That's right.
I mean,
Welcome to 2024, our first podcast of the year, and we coming hard. Subscribe, like, or whatever you want to do, but we coming hard this year. I am. I don't know about Tack, but I am.
I'm always here. I'm always ready, so I have to get ready. I just have to deal with somebody standing on their soapbox or yelling at the clouds. It's just my life.
This is Jay. Good day.
Now he's got a. Oh my. Okay. We'll see y'all next. We'll see y'all next time. We're out of here. Later.